Hello, and welcome to our podcast, 1 Timothy, Verse by Verse, brought to you by Telios. This captivating podcast will detail each verse of 1 Timothy, providing guidance on church leadership, sound doctrine, and godly living. It lays a foundation for ordaining elders and provides practical advice for church governance. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Telios. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of 1 Timothy. We start chapter 3 today, a really informative chapter. We're in the middle of really just excellent and compact and efficient 3 chapters between chapter 2 and chapter 4, talking about ministry in the church. 5 and 6 also do this in perhaps less intense ways, but also very useful. Remember, chapter 1 is really Paul urging the commitment of his disciple Timothy, heading the church at Ephesus, to maintain his faith and doctrine. Now, he does this throughout the book as well. 3 is important because it talks about the qualities of an elder or a deacon, the 2 offices recognized in the church structure to lead the church. And importantly, these are the only 2 offices that are recognized in Scripture. Doesn't mean you can't have more, but that's what's there. And importantly, church structure and government, though many people will codify their own, which has helped create denominations in our culture, church denominations, such as Episcopalian or Presbyterianism. There's a great flexibility of how the church is run or directed in Scripture, and but what is there is very important for us to perceive and look at and to know. So the first 7 verses talk about the qualities of an elder. It integrates with Titus chapter 1, with a lot of overlap, but a few differences. So, from the King James, we'll do 2 verses today. Verse 1. This is a true saying, a common phrase of Paul to catch somebody's attention. And when he says it, he covers a variety of different topics, so it doesn't lead to one specific theme. This is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. So desire here, the first desire is the orgiomai. It's a word not used very much. It all has a sense of emotion, but also actually a reaching forth and grasping, like it's something you want to do and you're going to take action. The second desire is it's an emotional. It's where we get the general word for lust or desire, not necessarily a bad thing. It's saying here it's a good thing used in the verb form, which is not as typical as the noun form in Scripture. Office of bishop is where one of the words where we get elder. The other one is from the word presbyteros. Both of these terms mean elder. Some people have said, particularly after the early church got large and they needed to have different layers of authority, the bishop was higher than the presbyteros. The word here, episcopus, for bishop. That's not really consistent with Scripture, although that can be controversial. You'll have to make up your own mind here. In Titus 1, both these words, episcopus and presbyteros, in the original Greek are used pretty simultaneously. So, again, there's flexibility, and the fact that early church elevated episcopos, and if they did it out of faith to manage God's church, then, that might be okay too. So again, you'll have to decide that. Episcopos is used here. The word actually episcopi, episcopos, is used in the next verse. So leading it out, I don't perceive a real difference. It's somebody who, it comes from the word episcopi, to visit, to audit, to have control, where presbyteros, the other word is perhaps implies the older, wise man. So somebody of wisdom, knowledge, and yet manages. If you put those two words together, not a bad picture for elder of a church. So if a person wants to be an elder, that's good. And they could even, reach out for it. Perhaps a person could go to their pastor and say, I'd like to be an elder. How do I do that? Well, I have to learn. Verse 2, a bishop, again, the other word for bishop, episkopos, and he then goes into the qualities. Must be blameless. The word here literally is unseized, not arrested at one extreme, and perhaps just somebody who cannot make an accusation against them on the other extreme. Otherwise, somebody who can't be blamed in such a way to hurt the church. Husband of one wife. Literally here, one woman man, the same in Titus 1. This is controversial. Some people will use this to say that a divorced person cannot be an elder. Need to be true to the scripture. It isn't saying that. It seems to be saying you're committed to one woman. That could mean a variety of things. It means, and it's in the present tense, so might mean you're not having an affair, you don't have a relationship with a concubine, say, as they might have back then with their slave, or they often had affairs back then. The Greeks and Romans did not have multiple wives. So I don't think polygamy is in view here, but it's a commitment to a woman that will produce spiritual fruit for the church and manage their home, which becomes important in just a few verses. And their emotions and time are not split upon other women that would dilute their effect to manage their family and manage the church. That's how I read it. Again, all this is their variety of opinions. Vigilant, so on the lookout, attentive, circumspect. Close to this is the word sober in the original Greek. Temperate, self-controlled, maybe slight nuances of good behavior. The word perhaps discreet, modest, might be a better translation here. Given the hospitality, love of strangers is literally what it means in the Greek. And it's still actually a word in modern Greek, and able to teach. Okay, so these are important aspects to an elder that one is considering to lead the church. So they are people who can't be blamed. They're devoted to their wife. It does seem to limit it to a man. A woman is not under discussion here. This might go back to the end of chapter 2 in Adam and Eve and who first sinned. We don't know. I will say this, what is important to God is order. Order in the church, order in the family, order in the between the government and its people, in the workplace. And God is presenting us a order for which things can be accomplished in the church, being led by the right type of people. So this person is devoted to their wife, that they're staid and attentive to what is going on in a serious sort of way. And they aren't outlandish, and they're able to teach other people. Otherwise, they have knowledge, and yet they can transmit that in a way that people can learn, and they're hospitable. Okay, good verses. We'll continue in this rich section next time. I hope you'll join me then. Goodbye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast, 1 Timothy, Verse by Verse. We hope you found the teachings both interesting and informative. Join us next week for another exciting episode. To listen to all episodes, please visit our website at teleosresearch.com.